Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Homily, and I am pleased to talk to you today about my workshop. Just because you're an expert doesn't make you interesting. I've been coaching content experts for over 20 years. And prior to the workshop, I asked my attendees, what's the single most important thing you'd love to learn at the workshop? Well, from teaching literally hundreds of content experts for the last 20 years, there is one subject that keeps coming up. The number one request that attendees want to learn at the workshop is how to get more comfortable in front of an audience, how to become the best version of yourself without anxieties or feelings of self-consciousness. So that's what I'd like to talk to you about today, is how to get comfortable in front of an audience. When someone comes up to me at a workshop and it says, you know, Dr. Homily, I'm really good one-on-one. I'm great one-on-one, but when I get in front of an audience, I just lose my mind. Well, that can happen to a lot of people. So I asked them, I said, well, you're comfortable one-on-one, is that right? They said, oh yeah, I do really good one-on-one. I said, well, then here's the secret to talking to an audience without feeling self-conscious. Here's the secret. Don't talk to the whole audience. Just talk to one person at a time. That's the secret. Now, it sounds easier than it actually is. I have 11 processes that constitute what makes for a great talk. And one of the processes is called connection. Now, connection is the process that I teach to help people get over this performance anxiety, to get over this stage fright. I call it punctuated connection. This is how it works. What we're going to do is we're going to talk to one person at a time. I want to imagine that you're one person. There's a person sitting over here. There's a person sitting over here. You're sitting here. There's another person here. And there's another person over here. So what punctuated connection is that I'm going to hold my eye connection all the way through a complete thought when I'm looking at someone. I'm doing it right now. Now, when I'm done with the thought, I'm going to change connection, like now. Now I begin the second thought. Now notice that I'm delivering all of the content to this one person, and I'm not changing connections until I'm done with the thought. Like this. Now I'm talking to this person. I can continue my train of thought. I continue the train of thought. I finish my thought, and I stop, and I go to the next person. I begin the train of thought, a new idea, and then when I'm done, I reconnect with you. Now, notice that when I connect from one person to another, there's a slight pause. There it is again. Did you hear it? Sure. See, it's this pause between connections that gives your audience time to let what you just said sink in. So, when I'm talking to one audience member, when I finish that thought, I pause when I change from one person to another. It's this pause that allows you, number one, to kind of think through how you're going to approach your next word, the dynamic expression, the facial expression, maybe a gesture associated with that word. And number two, as I said before, it lets what you've just said sink in with audience members. Now, a typical mistake that speakers make, and this is a huge factor in performance anxiety, is they don't connect with individuals. Rather, they speak to the whole audience. Let me give you an example. This is very typical of speakers, is that as they're talking, they're kind of going from one person to another. And there's no symmetry, there's no relationship between what they're saying and where they're looking. They'll start a thought, in the middle of the thought they'll change. It's like they're speaking like a sprinkler all over the place. Now, it's this speaking like a sprinkler. It's this lack of connection that creates the performance anxiety. Think about it. You're comfortable speaking one-on-one. Well, just make a presentation to the audience, a one-on-one performance. So instead of speaking like a sprinkler all over the place, learn to connect to one person at a time. And when you're finished with that train of thought, then reconnect. Allow a pause interval to connect. Allow a pause interval to occur between one connection and another. By so doing, you'll become more comfortable and people will get to experience the best version of you. It's all about being an interesting expert. I look forward to teaching you this concept plus the 10 others I've got at my workshop. Just because you're an expert doesn't make you interesting. I'm Paul Homily, and I hope to see you there.